Hi, this is Kat Chancellor of Stamp Art Connection and StampArtConnection.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I want to demonstrate the Above the Clouds stamp set. It's a bundle that comes with this wonderful stamp set here and this punch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through a couple of cards featuring the bundle, and we're going to kind of play around with some of the different ways, the variety of ways that you can produce balloons using this bundle. We're going to start out with kind of very simple, and then we're going to kind of create a scene. I'm also going to give you some ideas about, besides just stamping the balloons, you can stamp the balloons on designer series paper and create balloons as well that can very easily go on a card and be very simple to produce. We're also going to do something really more exciting. Is I'm going to take some specialty designer series paper and we're going to create this neat balloon here, and I'm going to show you how to do that, and we're going to create that and use it for this card. Look how pretty that's going to look. So let's go ahead and get started. Now what you're going to need to make these cards are, I'm using Blueberry Bushel as my base card, and this piece of cardstock right here is 5 3 3/4, as is this white piece of Whisper White right here. And then this piece here is at 5 3 3/4, and this is going to be watercolor paper because you're going to need your aqua painter and some ink to stamp that. I'm also going to use some embossing powder because we're going to emboss some clouds, Memento Black for our little birds, and then I'm using these either a punch, which you can use this punch here at 1 3/8, or these wonderful circle framelits, and I'm using the second to the smallest in the round. Let me see. Oh, here it is. The second to the smallest in the round circle framelits, and I like the scalloped edges because it kind of evoked a bit of a cloud. So you're going to need your big shot for that. So that's the first card I'm going to start, but then we're going to move on and we're going to do this card. And this card is going to kind of create a background. And the stamp set I'm using to create this background is going to be the waterfront stamp set. And it has some neat mountains. It's got some of these, I believe these are supposed to be palm trees, but I turned them upside down because I was trying to get kind of a desert feel. Being from New Mexico, the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta started when I started college there and has been going strong for about 30 years. So I wanted to produce kind of a background, a mountain background, that the balloons actually rise against the Sandia Mountains. So that was what I was trying to create. And this purple here is basically trying to mimic like sage. The sage brush that runs along the edge of the mountains kind of changes colors as the sun sets, and your mountains can sometimes be purple, they can be orange, they can be blue, but I kind of wanted to create that background. So we're going to play around with that. You're going to need some stamping blends, and I'm going to basically kind of start out with very basic colors. I'm going with Night of Navy. I believe this is Color Me Clover. I've got Daffodil Delight, and of course I have Poppy Parade. Just some very bright, known as kind of like your primary colors. So I'm going to set those aside. For stamp sets, I'm using a number of different stamp sets. I'm going to use the Balmy Blue and the Blueberry Bushel for my sky. And depending on whether I stamp this or not, what I did here is I used the white embossing powder for Gorgeous Grape, and that was a stamp off, stamp on. But I did use Gorgeous Grape and Purple Posy to create my background there. So so those are the kind of my key stamp sets that I'm using, my key colors. Our first set, and this is our blueberry bushel, and then the layered piece of 5 1/4 by 4, and this is simply to frame this piece. So I'm going to put these aside for now, and we're going to play around with our watercolor. So I'm going to bring in just a piece of paper here, and I have my aqua painter, and I also have a little spritzer here, and I'm going to take my colors. I'm going to open them up, and you can press these just like you used to press your old ones. Open them up, and I'm going to add the color. I want the darker color at the bottom, and then the lighter color at the top. So I'm just going to basically kind of add color, and then I'm going to spray, and I'm going to kind of let these kind of blend together. And I'm tipping my paper, and then I'm using my aqua painter to kind of blend my colors along the edges to kind of create that effect. If I want more darkness, I just simply want to add more ink here at the bottom. Add more at the bottom, right there. And there I'm just kind of creating a nice kind of a wash, what they call a wash. And there we go. I'm just gonna, let's see, make sure I get the, there we go. So kind of spray it like that. And then I'm gonna kind of clean up my edges. Just take my aqua painter, go along my edges to put color all the way around the edge. And I really kind of like how that just kind of, you can add, if it's still wet, you can just add color and just kind of let it kind of blend down like that. Okay, and let's just go ahead and put these aside for now. Now I'm just going to take my heat gun at a very low setting, and I'm kind of blowing this. You can see I'm kind of blowing this down because I'm going to let the water dry, kind of evaporate. Now when my paper is wet, my paper is going to be very curved. So as I'm drying it, and here I see, I want to add some, make sure I get some of that color. If I've got some kind of, if it's got some white spots, I can just kind of use my blender pen and just kind of move it in there. I can always re-wet it. And this is on the low setting. I can also turn this around like this, and I can let this kind of go down this way. put my heat gun aside, close this. I've cleaned my aqua painter and my spritzer. Just gonna put those aside. I'm gonna move out now, because now that that's dry, you can see that it's dry because it's flat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my Versamark, and I should have white. Let me go ahead because I'm going to put some Okay, so now that I have my clouds, remember we're doing this card here. What I want to do is I want to do my balloons. And the way we're going to do balloons is we're going to grab some Whisper White, this Whisper White over here, and we're going to stamp 2 balloons using this stamp right here, which is kind of the using this stamp, and we're going to use our Memento Black. And I'm going to use my piercing mat, since this is photopolymer. And looking at how this punches, you want to stamp kind of at the bottom. Like that. Then you can grab your little basket right here. If you punch out a kind of a stencil, you can lay this stencil right on top of your balloon, and then you can stamp your basket so that it will cut out perfectly when you stamp out your balloon. Okay, so let's do our next balloon. We're going to stamp it right over here. And then I'm going to lay my stencil on top of it. And to make my stencil, all I did was I used a different color. In this case, I used Berry Vanilla, so I could see my stencil against my white cardstock. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is we're going to cut these out with my punch and see how very nicely they line up. Okay. Now we're going to set these aside, and I'm going to take a piece of the Graceful Glass Designer Series paper, and I have a piece right here, and I have a piece right here. And you can see I've already kind of played around with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this piece this way, and I'm going to grab some colors, because we're going to color in this vellum, and then we're going to place it on our balloons. And these will fit perfectly. We're going to cut these out. So the colors that I want to use are, I'm going to start out with And I'm just going to use the full strength color. So I'm using the dark. So I want to use dark Poppy Parade. Let me pull in so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Okay, so there you go. Now that I have both my balloons are going to go on my my punched out piece. But I think you can tell that they're kind of large. So what I did is I made a pattern out of a piece of just grid paper where I had laid it on top. I had stamped out, then I trimmed, and here's my pattern. So now I'm going to lay this, because I want this to go like this, I'm going to lay this over my balloon, and I'm going to trim around. We're going to fussy cut that around. Okay, so now we have this piece that we can put on this balloon like that. And I'm going to go ahead and let's see, I've trimmed this one. I think I'm going to trim around this one a little bit. Okay, so now that I have these two pieces, what I'm going to have to color is this top right here. So I'm going to take my Poppy Parade. I'm just going to do that. Poppy Parade right there. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm not going to get too fancy. And I'm just going to kind of do that. Okay, and then we're going to take our Daffodil Delight, and I'm using the darks right now, and I'm using kind of the pen. Now I got some red here, but that's going to It's going to blend right in. Don't worry about those kind of things. Okay, so you can kind of see what I did is I just kind of colored in the top and the bottom. Made sure everything was colored. Now I'm going to lay this piece right here, and then I'm going to lay this piece right there, and there's my balloons. And all I'm going to do, it's going to be very easy. So I'm just going to take a piece of snail, put it on the back, kind of line up my tops like this, and there you go. Take a piece of snail, and kind of line up my tops. There we go. And if I do see a little bit of white, I'm just go in here and just throw a little bit of color on it. So there are our balloons. Aren't they lovely? I just love this. So now that this is dry, we're going to put our balloons on here. But first we're going to I'm going to finish cutting out the baskets. See, I got one basket and I got two baskets. Okay, so I'm going to trim these baskets. And I'm just going to get a piece, I'm just going to go ahead and get a marker, and it's going to be crumb cake, and I'm going to use, I'm just going to go ahead and color this basket in. There. And again, I think I'm gonna trim this because this basket also the mini glue dots are perfect for fit on this little basket. Okay, so now I have my balloons, and I'm going to put them like this, and then I also already did my sentiment, which is going to go right there, and I have my basket. So we're ready to put this card together. So I'm going to need my, let's see, I think we're going to need this. Yes, we're going to need this. So let's go ahead and put, use my tear tape. Okay. And we're just going to line that up here. That beautiful. And now we're going to add our balloons. Now if I see a little bit of, like I said, if I see a little bit of something that's not colored, I can always kind of take my pen and just kind of color it in. And I do see a couple little white spots. I just want to make sure it looks marvelous. And I don't like this white right along here. I'm going to cut that down. Okay. And there we go. So I'm going to put this one here. So this is the first piece I want to put down. And there we go. Wow, there's our first card. Isn't that gorgeous? So, easy step up using our painted graceful glass. Okay, so we have these two done. Let's go on and do our last card. Okay, to begin with this card, we're taking a piece of Whisper White that's 5 1/4 by 4. And we're going to use the stamp set Waterfront. And let me put some of the colors that we're going to be using. And let me make sure I'm out far enough. I'm going to go ahead and use the Purple Mountain first. No, I want to use the Blue Sky. And I'm going to use Balmy Blue. I'm going to turn the sky upside down. Okay, and I'm going to stamp off, stamp, stamp off. Okay, so that is my sky. Now we're going to take the mountain. I'm going to put my Balmy Blue away for now. Well, actually what I want to do with my Balmy Blue is, instead of this, I'm going to put a river. And this is going to be my river. And my river is going to be straight Balmy Blue. Turn this around. Okay, that's my river. I'm going to take this off. So I've done my sky and I've done my river. Now I'm going to take my gorgeous grape and we're going to do our mountain. Here's our mountain stamp. So I'm going to stamp my mountain right inside my sky, right there. And then I'm going to kind of stamp it off over here. I'm going to stamp my mountain right there. So there's my purple mountain. And I'm getting all kinds of ink on my paper. But then I'm going to take this shape here and I'm going to stamp off. And we're going to just put some, kind of put some color along the base of our mountains, like that. Then I'm going to take my purple posy and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to kind of blend that purple posy up into where we stamped. So and if I'm lucky, it kind of covered up a little bit of okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and put my purple posy right up to my river. There. So, if you were in New Mexico, you would be looking across the Rio Grande, looking across the rise to the Sandia Mountains. That's what I'm trying to evoke here. So now that I've done my background, we're going to put my background aside and my stamping paper, because now what we're going to do is we're going to pull in some of this Whisper White. And let me get another. And we're going to stamp our balloons. So let me go ahead and put all my, we're going to stamp several balloons. We're going to stamp these big balloons. And we're going to stamp these little balloons. And we're going to stamp 2 of these balloons. And let me just kind of get my Memento black here. Ink it up really nice and good. So I've got 1. I've got 2. Now we're going to shift over and we're going to do this balloon. Our old favorite from the last stamp. Okay. And we're going to grab our sentiment, since we might as well do that now. Okay. And then we're going to turn this like this, and we're going to go ahead and stamp these balloons. And I'm going to stamp them twice. Okay. So now we're going to color, and we're going to color using our stamping blends. So let's go ahead and grab our stamping blends. Grab a light Poppy Parade, and we're just going to go ahead . Let's just lay this down like this, and so let's go ahead and grab our punch, and we will punch that out. Okay, so we have our baskets, and I think I may have to trim them just a tad. Okay, so I got those, and then let me get my crumb cake. There we go, just kind of got our baskets done. Okay, so I got baskets, I have balloons. Now I need one more balloon, and that is going to be these little balloons here. Okay, so now let's put our card together. So this goes here, this goes here, and this goes here. This one we're going to put flat on the paper. Let me move this out. And this one we're going to pop up. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to place my balloons. The smallest balloon, I got 3 sizes. So this one goes here, this one goes here, and this is my smallest balloon, which kind of goes to the foreground. Okay? So that's how we're going to kind of place them. There, isn't that pretty? Oh, that's so pretty. So now, let's go ahead and turn this over, and let's put some tear tape on it. Oops, what am I doing? Putting it on the, I don't want that on the outside. I need this on the out. There we go. Okay. So we got this one and this one. I love that. I just love that. And then we have our very simple one right there. Now, all we have to do is do the inside of our card. And I don't think there's much more we can really say about it. I think it's really gorgeous. It can be a thank you. I would think more than likely it's a thank you. I just love balloons, and I love this bundle. And I hope that you really enjoyed this video, kind of showing you the different ways you could do. You could do the balloons. You could just do it very basic, using the stamps and the embossing powder, different colors for doing the balloons, just coloring them, cutting out the smaller balloons, creating a scene, kind of how you can use the set such as we did here for the waterfront stamp set, and just using some watercolor paper to create a beautiful sky, and a different way to kind of put your balloons together, which I just think is just really, really marvelous. You can even decorate these probably with some ribbons. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please come back and like my video. If you are looking to purchase this, you can click on my link, which will be in the bottom, and go directly to my blog, where you'll have all kinds of links for free stuff, free downloads such as the color charts, and you can sign up for my newsletter that comes out at least every month, but I try to do put them out as often as I get good information from Stampin' Up that you need to know. So Kat Chancellor, Stamp Art Connection, and stampartconnection.com. Please like this video, subscribe to my newsletter, and come back again. Happy stamping.